My name's Aftab Hussain. I'm the Learning Technology Manager at Bolton College. The college right now has got lots of disparate systems in it. We've got information systems, learning management platforms, data sets on our students, on work placement and so on. And all those systems right now are ad hoc and they live in isolation from one another. And most of the time people use those services in silos. And the advent of learning analytics, business intelligence platforms, and especially artificial intelligence and cognitive services enables these platforms to no longer be isolated, but to be unified. So at the college at Bolton, one of the things that we've done is created a chatbot that can answer basic questions and answers on behalf of the staff and the students across the college. Now, the chatbot allows all the different ad hoc data sets around the college to be connected, and the algorithms that we use allows the data from one data set to be used in conjunction with other data sets around the college. So for instance, a student could say, where's my next assignment due in? And Ada, our digital assistant, could advise a student that they need a particular grade in order to secure a place at their chosen university. Now, so in that particular scenario, we've got the assignment deadline date, we've got the assignment title, we've got the grade profile for a student, we've got the target grade, how well they're performing right now, and what their aspirations are for the future. And typically in a campus, those will be isolated from one another, and it would take a teacher or a member of the support team and even the students some time to figure all that one out. But in a split second, Ada could potentially offer that advice and guidance to that student regarding that particular inquiry. So that's what these platforms allow colleges to do. And in the past, they would have been isolated from one another. Now, as well as providing all these connections and that intelligence and that insight, one of the things that it will hopefully do is allow students and teachers and support teams to make better decisions. So if a student is asking about their next assignment date, they can say, well, I've been advised by Ada, the chatbot, to secure this particular grade. If I secure that grade, then I maintain or increase my grade average, and I'm able to progress on to my chosen destination, be it further study or apprenticeship or into employment or training. So that's a huge win for us. But decision making just doesn't rest with the student. Ada and campus chatbots that will develop in the future will also support teachers and support teams. So the bots will say to the teachers, these students are at risk, these students have moved from amber to red, these students have moved from green to amber, these are the risk factors associated with that student, and or don't forget, this student is away today, they're on work placement. I've added the notification to your register so you don't need to sign them as absent, this is all done for you. So with the chatbots in place, hopefully everyone in the campus will make decisions with better insight and hopefully improve the outcomes for all our students. Now in the future, what will happen is that the chatbots will not just answer data inquiries that students and the teachers have posed to it, but the bots will also start to support day-to-day activities. So for instance, teachers mark work. There is a potential project that we're working on right now for the computers to mark the work that students submit, to offer feedback, to offer guidance, and to grade, and to sign off that student on that piece of work. Now, that sounds fanciful, and it sounds scientific, and like sci-fi, but the technologies do exist to allow that to happen. Now, if the feedback is connected to on the automatic marking service, if it's connected to the wider data set, then the advice and guidance that's given on that feedback on that piece of work can also be informed and can also offer insight that previously wasn't there before. So for instance, the automatic marking service, when connected to the bot, could quite easily say, right, you've secured, I'll give you an example. A business teacher has got an assignment task on types of ownership. And the first question for a pass could be, could you identify all the different types of business ownership models and give an overview of those? And the student could respond to that question and secure a pass. An aider steps in, the digital assistant steps in and says, you've done well for the pass, but you actually need to secure a merit grade on this particular task in order to maintain or improve your average. Because remember, you're going to university, you're going to apprenticeship, you're going to your next course, you need these grades. So the student's advised to go for the merit question, and the merit question says, what are the pros and cons of all the different business ownership models? So the student is tasked with that, and the student answers that question. Now, if the student doesn't have all the data around that question to support the work, they can go to the AIDA chatbot or any digital assistant you have and say, I'm after the definition for sole trader. What are the pros and cons of being a private limited company? Now, the digital assistant, if it's designed by the teacher, won't answer all of the question. The student's still got to do some digging around, but at least gets the student off in the right direction. And when the student has submitted that piece of work, it's been marked by the computer, and the student is signed off. Now, teachers still in the loop. The teachers design the behaviour of these automatic marking services, that they decide the behaviour of the model, and they decide the benchmark by which this is not a pass, this is a pass, this is a pass, this is a merit, and so on. So the teachers are still in the loop, and the teachers design the behaviour of these machine learning models that actually mark the student work. So it's really, really important that we're not taking away the teacher from the whole process. The teacher's integral, but at least the teacher doesn't have to worry about a pile of marking on the weekend. They'll let the machine do that for them. So the teacher can work on spelling and punctuation and grammar and so on. The teacher can work on getting the students to work on critiquing, doing an evaluation, doing analysis on that piece of work. So all of the hardest elements, and let the computers do the basic stuff in terms of marking work. So that's one example that we have. Another example that we're hoping to work on in the near future is the development of student report cards. Right now, an academic will have to sit down in front of a computer, go through each of the student records, get the data on that student and how well they're doing on their studies, and write a summary of that. And the teacher who leads that course team may well speak to 2 or 3 other teachers who support that student, and also the support teams around that student. Now, that takes time. Teachers aren't perfect, so they will make spelling mistakes and grammar mistakes and punctuation mistakes. And also, teachers may have to do lots of student report cards. So a typical teacher could be supporting 30 or 60 students. And can you imagine the time taken to write that? Now, you may say it's impossible. Why a computer cannot do a student report card? But if you look at the mechanics of writing a student report card, they are routine. So, for instance, you're going to comment on attendance, you're going to comment on achievement, the grades, you're going to comment on whether or not they're performing, they're on track with the studies, whether they're performing below par or they're exceeding expectations, and you can comment on what they need to do next in terms of their studies in the grade profile, and give them some advice and guidance and give them some words of encouragement to do better. And if they're not doing well in the studies, the digital assistant could also pose advice and guidance, say, we think you should book an appointment to see your tutor. There's a slot free at Thursday at 2 o'clock. Do you want to attend that one? Student says yes, then the digital assistant puts that in the calendar for the teacher, the support team member, staff, and in the student's diary. So all these routine things that are typically done in the student report card could be automated. Now, a teacher could review it and quality assure it. The teacher designs the behaviour of the student report card. So they say, when these conditions are met, say this. If a student has got that distinction grade or the A-star grade, praise them and give them advice and guidance about other opportunities that make themselves available. So all those things could happen. One that's completely crazy, but technically it's possible, is where mum and dad ring up on a Monday morning and they're saying, our son or daughter has got the cold, won't be in class today. Now, normally what would happen is that the mum and dad will ring up the college or the school and report the absence to the college. Now, it's possible nowadays for a computer, your digital assistant on the campus, to take that call on your behalf. record all the details that's been shared by mum and dad, and then put that absence and the reason for that absence into the teacher's register for that day. And all of that is automated. So you capture the caller, you capture the details of the student, what lessons should have attended, and the ones that they're missing, and also the reasons why the absence is taking place. And all of that's done while the teacher's getting ready for his or her class, so they're not worried about it. So when the teacher arrives for class, there's an absence note in the register saying such and such a student is up with a cold, won't be in today. So that's where we're going.